Welcome to a setup, a video series, something that I want to start and have wanted to start for a long time, which is sort of like a podcast video series where I just sit down and talk about different topics, about different things that are rattling inside this little head of mine. I'll pick a topic or I'll pick a theme and just literally talk about it. As I said, it's kind of like a podcast minus a guest. So it's literally just me talking. It's literally just me taking this topic and exploring it to the depth of my ability. And I think a lot of these topics will be something that is related to me. So for example, one of the ideas I have is what it's like to be blind or registered blind or having a visual impairment. Another video idea would be what it's like being an immigrant into the UK. You know, what was the experience like from start to finish? What's it like for an African child to get on a boat or a plane, come to this foreign language, and how does it feel to adjust and learn the language and be in this completely different environment? Or what is it like to be a Muslim trying to assimilate to the current culture and climate of xenophobia or of prejudice, or, you know, especially in this time of racism, or, you know, a lot of things that I kind of want to just talk, get off my chest and explore and try and carve a path of discussion, hopefully, in the comments. So as I said, this is the first of many, and this one isn't really going to have one of those topics. So this episode is merely going to be me essentially wrapping up my 2020 experience, talking a little bit about one or two things that have happened in the year, diving a little bit deeper into my acupuncture experience to try and cure my retinitis pigmentosa, and also sort of like my weight loss journey. I know that's a little bit funny coming from an athlete, but you know, I did gain a lot of weight during lockdown, the tail end of 2020 and the first month of 2021. I basically said, you know what? No more. We're going to fight the beast, all right? We're going to go for this and we're going to lose some weight. Because when you're a full-time athlete like I was, you know, weight loss and all this kind of stuff is not really at the forefront of your mind, because it's a byproduct of training. You know, it's a byproduct of turning up every day to the track, to the gym, and doing what you need to do to get faster as a sprinter. Now, you know, when all that gets taken away from you because of the lockdown, when you're not able to train, when you're not able to, you know, do your cardio sessions or lift those weights and burn the weight passively, it can become difficult to maintain it because it's not something that you've been prioritizing, you know, at the forefront of your mind. It's not like, you know, oh, where's my weight at? You know, for me personally anyway, this is my experience. I know in certain sports like boxing, it's kind of like the number one thing, like you've got to be in this weight category to make this fight. But, you know, for sprinters, or from my experience personally, you know, it's something that just kind of happens passively and in the background. And so, like I said, getting to the end of 2020, to give a little bit of reference, so my performance weight is between 73 to 75 kg. My comfort weight is about 80 kg. And my sort of, okay, I need to start looking at my weight a bit more, is 85. The most I've ever weighed in my life was about 95 kg. Now, for somebody who's 5'7", it's quite, you know, it's quite a lot. It's quite a lot for me. I've always been skinny. I've always sort of, you know, been fit. I've always been active, so never really had concerns. And the time I got to that 95 kg was when I was doing an eye procedure at Moorfield Eye Hospital, and I was put on some steroids, and these steroids basically made me eat more. It made me more fatigued. I didn't want to exercise, and so I gained a lot of weight, which was natural, but obviously going back straight into training, that came down quite quickly. Now, with lockdown and with everything, not being able to go out and exercise at the track as usual, it's quite hard to motivate yourself to watch what you're eating or, you know, train, because there's no goal, there's no purpose, there's no place to be, there's no one to to prove anything to. So my weight basically went to 89.9, which is what I always like to say. I mean, obviously, you just call it 90, but no, 89.9. We don't want it to cross that 90 mark, but that's what it was. You know, my weight was at 90. As I said, not being able to watch what you're eating, not being able to quantify it and really have like a proper athlete diet, you know, it really got on top of everything. So that's my mission, you know. At the end of 2020, in December, when I weighed myself and it was 89.9, definitely 89.9, you know, I said, all right, I'm actually going to start to actively try and get this weight down. You know, I'm going to try and put some things in place to try and make sure I chip away and at least get down to, you know, 80 kg, which is my comfort level, which is where I can say, do you know what, I don't have to watch my weight anymore. I don't have to necessarily go down to 75, which is my performance weight, you know, but if I can get to that 80 mark, that'd be brilliant. So that's what I've set my first goal of 2021 to be, is to get down to 80. And with some of those things that I've put into place, one of those things is to have a carnivore diet. Okay. Now I came across this a couple of months ago when I heard about it on a podcast, and somebody was talking about being on a carnivore diet and the incredible things that it provided for them. You know, it they personally, their personal story was they had an immune system issue. So anything they ate, they became very inflamed, and, you know, all their conditions started to behave very erratically. And so the only thing that helped was having an isolated diet where they took out everything, and the only thing they could maintain on was protein. So specifically chicken, meat, beef, eggs, dairy, anything that comes from an animal, essentially. Only animal products, minus any carbs, minus any fruit, minus any veg, which sounds absolutely crazy to begin with. You know, how can you have a diet where you don't have carbs and veg? You know, the whole world tells us that you have to have these to have a balanced diet. But, you know, this person and a huge amount of people seem to be pulling it off, and with incredible results, you know, losing weight very quickly, gaining muscle mass, feeling the best they felt. And so for me, I tried a little bit of it last year. I tried it for like 2 weeks, but because of my sporting commitments, I wasn't able to fully go ahead with it because I needed, you know, ATP, I needed glucose, I needed, you know, carbs in my system to try and power me, obviously, to do the 100 meters. So that's the first thing I've implemented, to have a carnivore diet. So, for example, like a typical day of eating on the carnivore diet is I'd have 2 fried eggs, a few sausages, and maybe alternate that with square sausages or lawn sausages, whatever you want to call them, or boiled eggs or scrambled eggs. You get the gist. There's a lot of eggs, there's a lot of sausages, there's a lot of cheeses, milk, all that kind of stuff you can have for breakfast. It can get quite boring after a while. It can get a little bit repetitive, where sometimes you might have your lunch for breakfast and then your breakfast for lunch, because you just want the diversity in your diet. So, for example, like I said, for breakfast I'll have those things. For lunch, beef burgers, steaks, anything meaty, anything chicken based, chicken skewers, fillets of fish, fillets of beef, fillets of chicken, you know, burgers minus the bun. I've already said that. You get what I'm saying. You get where I'm coming with this. Like, it gets kind of repetitive after a while. And then for dinner again, you can have meat and chicken, no veg, no carbs. So essentially that's the diet. And for somebody that's trying to lose weight like myself, the aim is to obviously not have any carbohydrate intake, and that then in turn, you know, stops your body from preserving all your fat cells and starts using it, because now it needs to obviously burn some fuel. And protein and animal substances don't have a lot of, if any, carbohydrates or, you know, glucose things in them, and so obviously now you're forcing your system to start burning. So that helps the acceleration of the weight loss journey. That's something I've done very successfully, been very good at it. And now what I'm starting to do in this third week, which is what we're in now in January, is starting to introduce things. So the first week I did a fast, which is the second component of my weight loss journey, is to do intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting, again, is another one of those things that a lot of people are doing for weight loss. So combining the carnivore diet with the intermittent fasting really helps accelerate that process again. So essentially what intermittent fasting is you set yourself a very narrow, very small window of time to eat throughout the day, and then you don't eat anything outside of that window. So that window, depending on how aggressive you want to do it, can either be 4 hours or 6 hours or 8 hours, or if you're a nut job, 2 hours or even 1 hour a day, where you can just eat whatever you want. And then outside of those hours, you can't touch anything. You can touch liquids, so teas, coffees, water, obviously, as long as the calorie count in that beverage is below 90, because 90 calories is when you essentially go back into eating mode, so you come out of your fast. So if it's below 90, you can drink that. So essentially that's what I've combined with the carnivore diet. My setup was, for the first week, I gave myself 4 hours to eat, and essentially from the time of 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Is when I could essentially eat all the meat I wanted. And then also, and the reason I chose those times of 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. is because usually what I've found in the past is I tend to eat a lot of my main meals in the late afternoon / evening time. So that kind of incorporated quite well, because I'm not usually that hungry in the morning. I'm not really one to have, a big breakfast. And for lunch, like usually when I eat lunch, I start to feel quite groggy. So those two could, easily go, and then have like my main meal where I felt good in the evening. And I did that for a week. That was the first week of my weight loss journey. I should have like a little pop-up on the corner where it's like, weight loss journey. But anyway. So yeah, that was my first week. My second week, I stretched that 4 hours out into 8 hours, still having the carnivore diet, still eating the same kinds of food, but now I have an extra 4 hours, so I could then start to really have like a slot for lunch and a slot for dinner, rather than just having like one big slot where it doesn't make any sense. And so yeah, that's what I did. That was last week, so that was quite successful. This third week, I am introducing vegetables. So along with, like I said, my breakfast of eggs or omelettes, whatever it is, the main animal source is. I should stop saying that. Protein source. Let's use the word protein source. The main protein source is I add, a certain type of vegetable. So for example, this morning I had some spinach. I put some really nice, dense, greeny. Obviously spinach is green spinach on the side. And then for lunch, I had some vegetables, some mixed veg, some broccoli, some carrots, some peas on the side. And then for dinner, again, some more of the same stuff, cauliflower, all that kind of stuff. So that's what I've introduced in the third week. And then in the fourth week, we're going to start slowly introducing some carbohydrates. So a little bit of pasta, a little bit of rice, not too much to overwhelm me and give me, massive spike. But yeah, just enough so I can sustain everything. So that's like the first half, I'd say, of the weight loss journey is. And then the second part of the weight loss journey is exercise. And so with the exercise, for the first week I went quite light because my fasting, I was going to say my starving, because my fasting was quite severe. So obviously I didn't want to burn myself out. So I did about 1 5-kilometer jog one of the days, and it wasn't even that fast. It was a nice light paced jog where I kind of jogged into the woods, and then for the second day of the exercise, I did some circuits, so some light press ups, some light sit ups, and all that kind of stuff. I also did some stretching to get my body limbered up and open for the next few weeks of exercise. That's what I did. And at the end of that first week, I might as well say, I lost a lot of weight. So like I said, I started at 89.9, and at the end of that week, I got to 86.4. So that's how much is that? 3.4 kilometers. No, 3.4 kilograms of weight that was lost in that first week of just purely extreme fasting of only 4 hours worth of eating, light exercise, and just, resting, not having too much stress, and really priming myself for what's about to come. So that's already, nearly 50% of my target in the first week. So obviously what I'm doing is working with the protein diet, with the light working, with the fasting. It's really working. And so at the end of this week, that's just gone now, at the end of this week gone now, I've obviously opened up my fasting window and I've introduced a lot more exercise. So this week I did, last week, I did 2 lots of 5 kilometers. The first one I just did the straight 5 kilometers. The second one I did a 5 kilometer run with back-to-backs. So essentially some sprinting exercises. I found a nice, just whacking my phone there. I found a nice straight road near where I lived, and I basically just did 150 meters one way, did a 3-4 minute break, and I did 150 meters the other way. So I'd say about 60 to 80% of my full capacity, and that really blew me out. That my tank was empty after that, and so that was it. That was my second week, and I also did another session of circuits, which were a bit more aggressive this time. So 3 sets of push-ups, 3 sets of squats, 3 sets of burpees, lots and lots of different types of circuits, really getting the heart working. That was the second week. This is the third week we're coming into. Like I said, with the diet part of it, we're going to introduce some vegetables now, and again, ramping up. Hopefully I'm going to do 3 lots of running sessions, 2 lots of sprinting sessions, and 2 lots of circuits, because I didn't want to start at such a high level so early and burn out and lose motivation, because that's one thing with things like this. If you start off too much too soon, you can burn yourself out, you can burn out your motivation, and you can really stop yourself from doing it because you've overwhelmed yourself too soon. So for me, I just wanted to dip my toe in the water, make sure the temperature is good, and slowly get into it. And that's what you kind of want to do when you're getting yourself onto a weight loss program or getting yourself onto an exercise regime. You don't want to start at day 10. You want to start at day 1, and you want to get yourself slowly getting used to it. And a technique to kind of get yourself moving, especially with things like having to go out for a run, do the smallest thing possible. So for example, if you need to go for a run or a light jog, what's the smallest first thing you can do towards this? For me, it was literally I just need to go downstairs and put on my running shoes. If I can do that, that would be brilliant. And then, walk out the door one step at a time, and eventually start just lightly jogging. We're not trying to, blow steam here. We're just trying to get our legs moving a little bit faster. And before you know it, I'm doing my run. It's about like tricking your brain, not telling it what your full intentions are, but slowly baby stepping yourself towards it. But yeah, that was it. So that's my second week completed. Third week, looking forward to it. Again, like I said, because I haven't burnt myself out physically or mentally, I'm able to just look forward to it and look forward to this next week of weight loss and next week of dieting. And hopefully, one thing I really forgot to say, I haven't weighed myself yet. So today is Monday. I shall be weighing myself tonight, and I might add it in the future video, tell you how I'm doing. Obviously, I'm going to do a progress report at the end. Hopefully, I can film some footage as well next time I go, and I can put that out. That would be brilliant. But yeah, that's it. I don't know how long that was, but I talked a lot about my weight loss journey in January. What I found, in the past, when it comes to New Year's, is themes are very, very cool. And when I think intuitively about 2020 or 2019 or 2018, there's always been a theme in my life. And usually it comes in the form of a very plain object, a very plain thing that sort of has a lot of description behind it and a lot of childhood sort of connotation. So for example, in 2020, my theme was a turtle, right? It's something that came to my mind as soon as the COVID hit. You know, my whole personality was screaming, "You're gonna be a turtle this year, okay? Anything a turtle does, that's exactly what you're gonna do, and there's gonna be no messing about." And so that's, that was the theme. It was all about having a shell, going inside of yourself, retreating, and just getting as safe as possible, and not going out there, not risking anything, and just trying to be slow, steady, safe, the three S's. And that was it. That was my theme. And obviously, because of the pandemic, because everything gets cancelled, because there's no sport, we're in lockdown, and that's what turtles are. Turtles are always in lockdown in their little shells, and that was the theme. And so, sitting down again and thinking about the upcoming year, very dramatic shift in theme. This year, my theme is a rocket. My theme is about really, getting a flame going, igniting some sort of, losing my linguistic ability, getting some sort of ignition going, and propelling forward. In the same way like a rocket, burns tons of fuel just to get itself up into outer space. That's kind of like my theme for this year. So really just, trying lots of different things, pursuing my goals, 100%, and trying to get a lot of things launching. I did try to launch a few things last year, my self-care business, and like, again, the theme was turtle, so slow and steady, and that was it. And this year it's really just going really, really hard. That's my theme. And it'd be interesting to sort of like, if you did want to comment in the description what your theme is, or if you haven't got one, maybe it'll be interesting to start thinking about themes, because themes can really encapsulate a journey. It can really put everything into perspective. It can put time into like a nice bubble, a nice vision, something aesthetically understandable. So like I said, the turtle and the rocket, we all know what rockets do. They just go up, and they just burn fuel, and they just go towards that desired destination. So that's my goal about themes and stuff. But one important thing that happened last year as well was discovering acupuncture treatment for my eye condition. That's literally what my story is. That is my journey. It's about having an eye condition called retinitis pigmentosa. And it's essentially an eye condition where you get told that you've got this condition, and one day you will go blind, and there's no cure for you, and you just have to live with it. This is it. And essentially, like, that's it. There's no cure. There's nothing. And so it's quite daunting for a young person or an adult to find out that they've got this condition, and watching it, day by day, start to depreciate, reduce on a daily basis, seeing less faces of the people you love, seeing less things around you, being told you can't drive. It's quite a daunting thing. And hearing and learning about what the benefits of acupuncture can do to a degenerative condition like mine, I really started delving deep and exploring and really seeing what the actual quantifiable results of this can be. And the only way to do that is to obviously try it. So I tried going to acupuncture, and I tried to see if this can really be a cure, or at least like a deterrent for this eventual doom of blindness. And I think I filmed a few clips which I've posted in the past, but anyway, like, so yeah, that was it. And I guess without making it too long, like, the results of it is kind of like, for me personally, it's like, what I've noticed from it is it's like a therapeutic thing for the side effects that come with the eye condition. So the headaches that you get, the migraines, the dizziness, the lack of balance, the anxiety that can come with it, the pressure, so many different things, like so many side effects that you don't really notice. And I think the first and most impactful thing you notice are those quote unquote peripheral issues that you get with retinitis pigmentosa. You instantly notice like you're sleeping better, your eyes are focusing better, you've got less headaches, you've got better balance, and everything's a little bit smoother, a little bit bouncier, and everything's really, really good. From the actual vision point of view, again, I have noticed a lot of improvement there as well. So, for example, with the central vision, it's a lot clearer. And the biggest, the most impactful thing I noticed and can sort of describe is seeing leather for the first time. So I was sitting in the back of a car, obviously not driving, and the interior is like leather, and I was looking at the headrest of the person in front of me, and I just saw like the leather, the texture of the leather, the texture of the skin, and I've never ever seen what leather looks like before. So that was that was incredible. I was like, oh my god, it looks like skin. Crazy. Another experience was when I saw a blade of grass, which is obviously very thin and very specific and focused, and I was able to see that as well. That was incredible. And just little occurrences like this, being able to see a number plate from 5 meters away instead of 1, or sometimes not at all. Being able to have a little bit more of my peripheral vision. So I'd say my peripheral vision was about here. And then I'd say about 6 or 7 sessions in, it was about here. So I could count people's fingertips. And they'd obviously, the classic, how many fingers am I holding? I could count all of them. So those were like incredible benefits that I, saw within, like I said, 6 or 7 weeks of getting this acupuncture treatment. I'm just going to have a sip. Sorry, I don't know how much of that was caught. My camera decided to stop recording. I've still got the voice, so that's great. But yeah, hopefully we can try and see how much of that we can salvage. But anyway, so a lot of incredible results and benefits from the acupuncture with the vision. And I think what it's pointing to is like a future of possibility and a future of hope. And I've always had this thought in the back of my head that I just don't think I will be like blind and just stay like that. I think I don't know how to explain it, but it's almost like there's just something in my head that's saying something's just around the corner, and it's gonna just, blindness is going to be a disease of the past, like polio, like I don't know, things that we've eradicated, hopefully COVID. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's going to be an issue for much longer with the things that are happening with gene therapy, with traditional medicine like acupuncture, with robotics and camera, like you can stick a camera in an eye and just see through it. Retinal transplant, that's a new one. Stem cell therapy, just so many things around the corner, 5, 10, 15 years. And I just think, I don't know, there's just a belief in my chest that I don't think blindness is going to be an issue anymore. But yeah, so that's it. Those are the benefits I got, and I haven't been able to go recently because of the whole lockdown, and it's very far away. I live in the Midlands, and the practice is in Brighton. It's literally like the only one that does it in the UK, for the eyes specifically, acupuncture for the eyes. So that's a 6-hour round trip. As you can imagine, it's very tiring. But anyway, that's my acupuncture experience for 2020. Just trying to see if I wrote any other notes for today's chat. But yeah, I think for 2021, I mean, hopefully, like, all this lockdown stuff can end and we can finally start to go back to normal life. There's a lot of ideas I have, especially for this YouTube channel. I want to showcase things that people with disabilities can do that are fun and cool in the UK. That was a mouthful. So for example, there's a supercar experience place where you can go if you're blind or disabled or whatever thing you have. You can pay a little bit of money and you can jump in a supercar, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Audis, Mercedes, and just drive it around the track a couple of times. I mean, how cool is that? Like, from being told you're visually impaired, you'll never be able to drive, to be able to drive around like a Lamborghini around the track. That's insane. So that's like the kind of ideas I want to start showcasing and cultivating and putting out there for people to see. Things like flying. I don't know, like they've got like those big wind turbine things at the bottom, and then you do this and then you fly about. They're pretty cool. jumping out of planes, hopefully. Just, do you know what I mean? Like, so many cool little things, archery, and just showing that you can do this and you can come and have fun and have a smile on your face, regardless of what disability you may have. And also, you know, being able to talk about things, being able to sit down and reflect and talk about things and spill them on, you know, out, and hopefully people can resonate with it, whatever topic it may be. As I said, it could be to do with my disability, it could be to do with my ethnicity, the fact that I'm an immigrant that came to this country at the age of 5, my religion, my social beliefs, like so many different things, being an athlete, being a speaker, being an entrepreneur, just whatever thought I think that comes to mind and I feel like is worthy of discussion and is worthy of being expressed. Hopefully I can do at least 2 or 3 of these a week because there's nothing better to do during lockdown. But yeah, that's it. I just, wanted to sit down and have a little chat. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like if you did, leave a comment if you want specific discussions in the future, other than me and my weight loss journey for 2021, but I'll keep you updated with that as well. But thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you very soon. Cheers. Peace out.